So BetMGM put out a win total for the Detroit Pistons. And the win total was 24.5. So I want to ask you, are you going to take the over or the under this year?
Oh, the issue is, have they gone over in the last 10, 15 years? I don't know.
I'm
I
not
don't know
sure.
if anybody has that, but I feel like every time I see the win total over the summer, I'm just like, that's so low. Of course they're gonna. Who's not gonna win 25 games this year? Um, I'm going over just because they have to.
Yeah.
They just they just have to. I mean, I know Trajan came in and they're taking the right approach, like they're not making any crazy moves to really try and win right now, but they have to. And honestly, I like a lot of what they've done this summer. I know some people are mixed on like the Tobias contract and the Tim Hardaway Jr. trade, but I think he accomplished what he needed to offensively. Defensively, we're going to see, but if they were going to be a bad defensive team anyways, you might as well be able to score a little bit too. Um, I'm taking the over. I think the bottom of the East got weaker for sure. I'm not going to say it out loud, but there's a route to fight for the play-in. I did say it out loud. I couldn't help it. Uh, I think 24.5 is honestly a pretty solid line, but I think there's a world where they can inch towards 30.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So some more kind of information about this bet. So it was the most bet NBA season win total on BetMGM. So over 95% of the people bet the over for 24.5. So I don't know if this is a reverse jinx. I don't know if the people are saying 24 games. Yeah, the Pistons can win 24 games. I'm just trying to get my money.
Mm-hmm.
I personally am going to bet the under because I
You're a
don't.
smart man,
And
I think.
I taught. I'll give you my theory why I'm doing this. And I told Laz my theory the last time we were talking about Vegas lines. I'm betting the under, but the reason why I'm betting the under is I've bet the over probably the past 4 or 5 years and I've lost. I'm hoping me betting the under, I lose again, and they go over that 24.5. So I
Okay.
can lose money. I already put 100 bucks on the under. I'm hoping that they exceed the 24.5 and I lose. And maybe the Pistons, to your point, maybe they're a sneaky playing team.
I won't say it out loud again, but yeah. No, that's well, thank you for your sacrifice if it works. I'd also like, speaking of sacrifices, I'd like to not sacrifice the Pistons for the Lions this year. I'd like them both to just be good and fun to watch. That's my little blurb. But yeah, I'm taking the over because again, I think they just have to. I like what Trajan's done so far. I don't 100% think they're done. Um, I think at the very least, like Trajan gets it. Like he understands that there's urgency to make them better, but there's not urgency to go and make like crazy win now deals.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think he's taking care of a lot of needs so far. And I know we'll talk about the backup point guard spot in a bit. The only thing he didn't do was get a defensive center. I mean, he got Paul Reed, but with Stu and Duran on the roster, I don't understand what's going to happen there. But yeah, I think offensively they're going to be a lot better, which is going to help their defense, which still needs a lot of work though.
Yeah, I think to your point, Trajan checked a lot of boxes. He checked shooting, which we desperately needed, especially when
Mm-hmm.
you kind of look at you could go back on the Detroit Pistons Twitter account and look at the starting lineups. I mean, like they're abysmal. Some of them are just like pure abysmal. This
It
is like
hurts. Hurts a
Cade was
lot.
average. Averaging 22 and 8 with no spacing. You
Mm-hmm.
bet like Tim Hardaway Jr., who can shoot threes. A lot of them make a lot of them. You get a guy Malik Beasley who's been a high volume 3-point shooter throughout his career, and
They
a guy
finally got my guy.
They finally got your guy, man. And
Mm-hmm.
him and TJ Warren were your guys.
I know. I'll never forgive Jeff Bauer for that, but
Hey, man. Well, they address shooting, and I do think like a defensive center I would have liked, but I think if you kind of like break down Paul Reed and the advanced numbers, he's a better defender than Stu is when you look at the
Mhm.
metrics. And Stu is, I think Stu gets a lot of hate from the fan base, but he's a pretty good defender. Now,
I
obviously,
mean, he's probably your best defender, honestly, other than Asar.
yeah, I mean, I think people will be surprised how good Paul Reed is, and there could be situations where he could close out a game because he's been battle tested before in Philly for the
Yeah.
last couple of years, and he had to step up when Embiid was hurt last year, and he delivered. He was putting up double
Yeah.
doubles like they were nothing. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of the fan base will be happy about Paul Reed, but
Agreed. But I still don't understand like where the route to playing time is, unless it's Stu at the 4, and then there's that conversation.
I mean, I did my depth chart and I got clowned for it. I had him. I had him as a third string center.
I mean, that's I think what unless you're playing Stu at the 4, like he kind of has to be.
Yeah,
I mean,
unless,
it's not going to be Duran. You're paying Stu too much, and he realistically is your second best defender. I want Paul Reed to play. I don't want that to be misconstrued as I think he's a third string center. I just think as is right now, I don't understand how he's not on this depth chart.
yeah, I mean, unless they just want to go full craziness and have a two big lineup off the bench.
Which I will take back me saying that Trajan gets it.
Hey, I'm not speaking anything into existence. I mean, when you look at the depth chart, you look at the players that they've brought in, it's like, okay, you got Duran starting right at the top. I think everyone understands that. But
Yep.
is Stewart going to play backup center? Is Paul Reed going to play backup center? I don't know, man. I kind of can't wait for maybe just a Rico Hines run or just some preseason to kind
Anything?
of anything. But honestly, man, it's dry days over here. But I think 24 and a half, 10 more games. I honestly think they could get anywhere from 28 to 30 wins.
Yeah.
I think
they can be in that range. We'll see if it happens. Because they've been able to be in that range for years now. It just hasn't happened.
It's your point, like you said, playing. Like you're not the first person that has like mentioned playing. Like I do think there's a realistic pathway to get to the plan. I really do. You still have some cap space. You have some positions that you need to fill out. You have some positions to I think get marginally better in. And there is some free agents still out there. Or you could use it in trades. Like you've told the fans, like, hey, like maybe we can get some draft capital and get a decent rotational player.
Yep.
I think there's pathways there. I think last time I checked, I think Spot Trek said like 9.4 million, but I don't know if that's updated.
And then they still have the room exception too.
Yeah, I've seen anywhere from like 9 to 11 million. I don't know the exact number on that.
I think it's 9 after Clintman's deal happens. I think it's the end of the month. But it's 11 until then if they wanted to maneuver something or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think they're done, but I think 24 is kind of low, and I could understand why 95% of the people on BetMGM bet that over.